Marcus, walk through that last play down at ULM. What did you kind of see from the quarterback and the throw? Just kind of walk me through what you saw out there.
On the play, I was at safety, and I saw the quarterback look at the number one receiver into the boundary, and I just went up and made a play.
What did you see? No, please. My bad. What did you see from your defense in the first half compared to what you saw in the second half? Was there anything schematic that proved the difference, the success you had first half versus the second half, Marcus?
The first half, we saw the potential that we could play at in the first half, so that's a great thing. But the second half, we kind of got out of our playing style, and we just got to fix things up in the film room and communication. It was a third down that was real long that hurt us, and we just got to get back in the film room and cover that up and communicate better.
Justin mentioned the last play. It looked like they had targeted you several times with the receiver early in the contest. But you said you were at safety on that play and obviously had a different look to come over and help.
Oh, yes, sir. We was it was a play to where I was at safety, and I saw the receiver doing a lot of moves and things like that. So then I saw the quarterback look that way, and it went out the right way. So.
You turn your attention to next week, Coastal coming up. And last year was a game to remember for you. Heading into that game, how much is last year on your mind, and how do you hope to maybe replicate that success this week?
Last year was last year, so we're not really worried about last year, and we just got to come in with the same mindset. We just got to play our game, and the game should go our way. So,
what role comes into effect with your position with a quarterback or offense that kind of runs that option style where dish it out at the last minute, quarterback takes it around? What discipline does it take in that cornerback position to go up against that offense?
Major eye discipline. If you have your eyes in the wrong place, things can go wrong. Coach always say if you see the ball thrown, then you're gonna see the catch, and that's a major thing as a DB. So.
Communication was an issue in the second half. I mean, you're up, by a couple touchdowns. The offense is going to be throwing at you. Throughout the whole game, did you feel at one point that you needed to step up and make a play to kind of seal this thing, or did someone need to step up in order to end it?
We just had to have someone, come together and talk to the team. Hey, we need to get it straight. We had Rook, we had Tron. They all came up. The guys that had experience came up and talked to us and was like, hey, we gotta sow the bleeding, basically. So. That's what happened. So
3-1 through the first 4 weeks. If you can, just put into words where you think this team is at right now through the first third of the season.
We're in a good place, but we can't be complacent. We have a whole bunch of games to play and some teams that have some key players, and we just have to come in with the right mindset and just keep practicing and keep having the right scheme.
Coach Brown mentioned he was kind of disappointed with the way you guys played in the second half. Did you, on defense, see any shades that you saw maybe in the opener in terms of where maybe they got you and exploited the defense?
In the first half, we basically just had a first drive. Wasn't good, but we saw the potential that we could play at. And the second half, it felt like we got kind of complacent, and that's the thing that you can't do in football. No matter, you got to play 4 quarters, and that's what Coach always preaches to us. So.
You obviously had the big game in the return game against these guys last year. You hoping you get some short kicks in this one Saturday?
Yeah, hopefully we get the right scheme. I know we are, and I hope that I have a big return. So,
Trayvon, the highest of highs in the first half, the low of lows in the second half. What was the difference in the first and second half against ULM?
I would say we got complacent in the second half. First half, we went out there playing football like how we play football, how Troy plays football. And I think we were up, 35-7 going into halftime. And just coming out of halftime, I think we got a little bit too complacent and really wasn't focused, too much focus on the game anymore. And we really had to come back into reality and step it back up.
Have you seen this team do this? Get ahead by a lot, kind of take their foot off the gas, maybe not be 100% in the game, and I guess can you just talk about what it's like to play with a lead of that magnitude?
I definitely seen it before. Last year we beat LSU, came back and lost to South, so I definitely seen it before, and that's one thing being a senior on the team and seeing it before, trying to preach to the younger guys not to let it be that way. just because of the simple fact I've seen it before and I know what it can do. So instead of taking a negative route, just stay positive and do what we got to do so we can just win the game instead of, being complacent.
You face a different kind of offensive attack this week, a more option-based team that tries to run. How does that impact what you're trying to do, your responsibilities in the middle?
My responsibility stays the same. On the option, I'm responsible for the dive, which is up the middle. We have outside contained guys that's responsible for the quarterback and the pitch guy. So as long as we stay true to all of our assignments, we'll do good against the option. I don't have no worries about it.
You guys did get the win this weekend, but I guess with the way the second half went, did it feel like a win at the end of the game?
Not necessarily. It wasn't a lot of high fives, hoorays in the locker room, just because we know we didn't play up to our standards in the second half, and one thing we have to do better is play up to our standards when we get a big lead like that. So it really didn't feel like a real win, just because the second half, I think we played our worst gameplay of football that we played this year, which is unacceptable as a team. So that's one thing we got to work on going forward.
Throughout the first month of the season, 3-1. Is this where you thought the team would be over the first 4 games?
Definitely. I was looking to be 4-0, but 3-1 is still good. We still got a lot of work to do to get the ultimate goal to win a championship from last year. But we still got a lot of work to do, learning fundamentals, and we at a pretty good spot right now. We just gotta keep improving.
Big game for you on Saturday. I think it was like 6 catches, 70, 80-something yards. How have you progressed now in this role over on the offensive side of the ball, taking over in the receiving corps?
I say I just been working hard each and every day just to get better at my craft, and just listening to what the coaches have to say, like learning and taking their teaching and then just using it in the game.
It's you guys come out really strong first half. All the points, you build this nice lead as an offensive player. What's going through your mind right now at that point in the game?
We're up pretty big. Offense clicking great. At that point, I was just saying, hopefully we can keep it going in the second half and just build on that.
You obviously had some big catches, and I know as a receiver that's what you want to do, but from our vantage point, we thought you had a lot of impact on several plays with your downfield blocking. Is that something you take pride in, and how hard is it to work and be good at that?
It's definitely something I take pride in. In the receiver room, it's like that's a big thing. Like we don't only want to catch the ball, we also want to block downfield. And for us to get better at that at practice, we just always chase the ball. Like if a running back or somebody break out at practice, we always chase and get in front of the defender for a block, so it translates to the game.
Caleb played really well. He missed 5 passes the whole game. As a receiver, to see your quarterback in a rhythm like that, does that excite you?
Yeah, it's always exciting for him to be in a rhythm like that because he can get the ball to all the receivers and running backs and all of his playmakers on offense. And if he's on and we're just sticking routes getting open, then it'll be a good night.
A lot of attention goes towards Damian because of his size and DeAndre because what he can do on the field. How does that open up you on the field to make plays when those guys are getting a bulk of the attention?
Those guys, they're going to cause attention on the outside because they got speed and height. So I'm kind of got to just catch the short passes and go across the middle and do the dirty work. But, we all just make our play when our number be called.
Coach Brown mentioned that Coastal does some pretty good things defensively. I guess what's the challenge for you this week to try to get just as open as you were last week?
I'm just keep doing what I'm doing at practice, just working hard and just getting better at my craft every day. It's just not much about what they do, but just doing the things we do well.
3-1 on the season. If you can, just put into words kind of where do you think this team and this offense is at right now through the first 1/3 of the season?
Right now, I think we doing some good things, but we obviously have to get better. I mean, I think we need to get the killer mentality. You know, when we're up, we need to go ahead and try to put teams away and not get complacent. And as far as third downs, we can work on that, like converting them more and getting better with that also.
You mentioned killer mentality. What is that? Where does that come from? How do you find that?
I mean, like once you up on a team, I know most teams seem to get comfortable after they get up, and like especially after halftime, once they take that little break. But if you had a killer mindset, that first and two drive, when you come back out, you try to make a statement and go down and score. And I feel like we just need to find that killer mindset the rest of the season.
Caleb, first off, Offensive Player of the Week for the Sun Belt. If you can't just put into words, kind of how big that honor is for you.
Honestly, like I wish that the award could go to the entire offense because, me being the quarterback, of course, I get the award, but I feel like the credit is due to everyone else on the offense. The O-line did a great job from the opening drive. I know we had that one sack. I think that was a missed pickup, but from then on, I just felt like the O-line opened up holes, opened up run game holes, and then that opened up passing lanes for me to get the ball to the receiver's hands. And then, really overall, I thought we played great offensively in the first half. So like I said, I wish the award could go to everybody on the offense, but unfortunately, it just goes to one player. But I was just happy that we really put the puzzle pieces together in that first half and really played to up to our potential.
Caleb, on the ground, pair rushing touchdowns for you, one against A&M. Do you feel teams are not accounting for you as a runner?
I know that and coming out in the second half, they made a really good adjustment. They had a safety overhanging that was eyeing me in case I pulled the ball. So they adjusted in the second half. But I think it's kind of I would imagine that teams moving forward would probably have someone watching me, which should open up things other than me running the ball. So we'll see.
What have you seen progression-wise in the receiving core, especially from Sidney Davis? Because Damian and DeAndre are going to get a lot of attention out there. What have you seen from his work ethic and how he's able to make plays out on the field?
Sidney's been a really quiet guy since he got here. He's been a guy that, he's never late to anything. He works harder than anybody I've ever met. And, it's great to see him really get the success that I think he deserves. He's a great player, and more importantly, he's a better teammate. He's a guy you can really count on. I texted him after the game, just told him how much I appreciated him and, how much I loved the way he plays the game of football. The heart that he plays with out there, it's very evident. And it's just great to have a guy like that on your team.
We thought your receivers did a good job in that game of getting in good position and really making themselves big targets for you. How important is that for you to be able to, for them to do that and you be able to see them from the pocket?
I think it's important, but I think I think we just gave them chances to make plays on the ball. We got big guys like you said, and Damian, 6'3", 6'4". I think we need to continue to get him the ball down the field, and then Dre did some good things inside, and then making plays on some screen throws. So, I think we just got to keep progressing and keep working this week. I think the opponent is kind of similar to last week in Coastal, but it's really about us. And then, making plays during the week, not slacking on Tuesday and Wednesday, and really getting the work done and getting ready for Saturday.
Caleb, you missed 5 passes all game. Do you feel this is the most comfortable you've been in this offense to this point?
I've been comfortable. I think really the biggest thing was just, I prepared more because, I didn't play great against Nebraska, and I took that upon myself. Me and Coach Reagan talked today about it, and he really felt like I prepared really well throughout the week. So I'm just going to do that same schedule and routine that I did last week and just carry that on throughout the rest of the season.
Ask Trayvon, the big difference in the first and second half. What was the mood like in the locker room after the game? Even though it was a win, did it feel like a win?
It did, but at the same time, it really didn't because we all felt like we should have kind took care of business more than we did in the second half. But, it's kind of like Coach Brown said, it's a big learning moment for us because, if you don't learn from something like that, I do believe that it will happen again. So, I think we really need to focus on closing out games like that and just playing better really in the second half.
As a quarterback, to go into halftime with the lead that you guys had, I guess, what was on your mind and how are you feeling at the half?
I was pretty relaxed. I was really hoping that we'd come out still firing on all cylinders in the second half. Unfortunately, we didn't. We really stalled to what I can remember, probably until early in the fourth. We started moving the ball a little bit again, but it was disappointing. But after having that first half, I think we got some things that we can really continue to grow on. So that's exciting.
3-1 through the first 4 games of the year. If you can't just put into words, where do you think this team's at right now, the offense as a whole, through the first third of the season?
After the Boise game, I was excited really because you take a loss like that and you kind of see what your team's made of. And I think the leaders of the team and the leadership council have done a good job throughout practice during the week. And 3-1, more importantly 1-0 in the conference. To still be chasing after that championship. I think that's the biggest thing. I've been proud how we've bounced back since that first win, and I think really the sky's the limit for what this team can do. Obviously, in the first half, that's probably our most complete football game in all 3 phases, I feel like. So it's exciting. I think we're only going to grow and continue to be hungry. So.
You mentioned Coastal, kind of similar to ULM in terms of defense. You had a chance to see them a little bit last year. What for you? What challenges do you think you might see come this weekend?
Challenges probably just relaxing like I did last week. Just playing one play at a time and letting the game come to me. Not trying to do too much, just making things happen with what they give me defensively. Not trying to make big plays, like I said, just really playing one play at a time. It's nothing really new that I haven't seen, so I'm just going to, work this week, like I said, that same routine, and then be ready for Saturday.